Hello guys, do you see my screen? Hello everyone, good morning. Let's get started. I'm not sure it shows. Hello, do you hear me guys? Or you can chat on me, like you hear me or not. You can text me yes. Hello. Okay, thank you Mujammal. Thanks Naim. Okay. So you can start. Give me 1 minute. I need to set up with another machine. I want to hook up. Let me check with fine. Okay. Okay. So today's topics, I'm thinking like I'll go to the network, but based on you guys, tell me about like how you comfort with writing the test cases and then testing process. Are you comfortable? I'm not sure. Are you started practicing on it or not? So we can start with some important testing process. Suppose like when we start testing, when it could be finished, and then when we determine that testing is completed. Or suppose like during the testing process, we have negative testing or different type of testings, and also we need validation and verification. Those stuffs is I wanted to talk about, but based on your knowledge, I'm not sure. Are you comfortable? Because last time Sangam also took the classes, and he also gave you some lecture about the testing process and other stuff. So based on this, do we need to fill up any gaps? If you are not understanding properly, or if you have misconception with anything, you can ask me, or you can write down the text. Then we can also consult with that things, and then make you clear about that process. So before starting, just let me know up to right now, whatever classes you did from Sangam, do you have any question? If you not, please write down no. If you have, just ask me or write down on the chat box, please. Okay, I'm not sure. Anybody is not responding. Okay, do you hear me, guys? Hello? You already said some people are saying yes, but please respond. Like, do you need to discuss with anything previously worked with Sangam class? Like, if you are start from beginning Sangam class, because I am coordinating with Sangam for lab class basically, but in the meantime, I'm focusing more manual testing process. He's going to go through the automation as well, but he already gave you some lecture. I could not able to touch base on you because of that time frame. I could not get a chance to give you the lecture from beginning to now for about manual testing process. So everybody we know when we work on our project, even though if you are hiring manual testing or automation testing, but manual testing process is must. And everywhere I did not see anybody is hiring as automation, then he is only doing the automation. It's very rare case. Mostly it is 40, 60 combination. Suppose like it could be 40% automation, 60% manual, or it could be vice versa, 60% automation be based on which stage you are working and then what is the state of your project progress. So, but manual is must. So, uh, when we work on the project and then we have a scrum meeting, and then definitely we need to get the familiar with that. um, and then when the team is talk each other or one stakeholder to another stakeholder, suppose like business people or manager or program manager or network or DevOps person or a developer. So when they talk each other, then we understand what they are talking. So that's why in this course we want to coverage almost everything little little. Little little means like networking we need to know, database we need to know, software uh, development process we need to know, and then operation we need to know how they deploy. Then we need to know when we do the Scrum meeting or any project meeting, that we need to know about that. But more focus on test. But other also like networking knowledge we need to know about that, and also testing process. So that's overall as a QA tester when you want to be a good tester, or if you want to explore after that, then I would say definitely it will help you to start with, and then you can explore more if you are interested more on developing or more on automation. There's thousands of fields in IT, but as a QA, we wanted to make you perfect for testing. And then that's why testing is not like you are opening a one page and you are testing blindly. You are a navigation through, and then it is testing is done. Also, we need to know how it is built, what is the behind the navigation and sorry, and network tier is there, or network application is involved. So all we need to know. So that's why everything little little we need to go through other stuff. But basically we need to focus on the testing definitely, and then also as well for automation we need to know programming language as well. Any one language at least. But manual, it could be API, it could be database. Somebody is hiring only database testing is heavily, and they are paying very good, and also only hiring for the API testing. So it is part of manual. But before jumping on that, we need to go through all process and then make it clear overview of what we are doing. So before that, I'm asking you again, like, do you have any question previous classes when you did? Um, just just let me know. I can jump on that topics as well. Give you overview and make you clear. Please just don't hesitate to ask the question if you need to
Russell,
focus
nine.
on. Yeah, 9. Yes.
So I have a question about the defect. So when you do the defect paper, like defect document,
Okay.
this to the traceability metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Are you connected with the traceability metrics with the defect documents? Because are using the software?
Defect document mostly, I would say defect document is traceability matrix. We don't do that. Mostly it is on the test case. Test strategy or test plan. Suppose like if you write down the test cases, and then that one you can put as a traceability matrix. Suppose like which function is using which test case, like which function is involving. I'm saying my right word, involving with correct test cases. Suppose like you have a login functionality, and then they have a login functionality. Suppose like function 009, that is there on the code, or function code, function FUNC, FUNC some number. It is internal. We cannot say like what it could be, but just assume. And in the meantime, suppose like we have a send, so if we consider as a Gmail, suppose we have a send functionality, we have log out functionality, we have attachment functionality. So those are functionality we have. So when we write down the test cases, based on the test cases, we need to put the traceability metrics, like which function is touching what. But on the defect, mostly we use the test case ID, which one is failed on the defect report. Just give me 1 second. My wife is calling me.
Sure, sure.
Just keep on. Okay. Yes, Naim. So let's get started again. So we left it like you are get clear, right? So when we write down that defect ID should be there, and then in the meantime we can put it definitely the test ID, which one is failed. So there you can put one column, and then you can track it which test case got failed, and then also definitely team also get involved. So on the test case level, the status, if you when you put fail, and then in the meantime you are raising a defect on that defect list. So two Excel sheet, or two, it could be Excel sheet, or it could be like a rally, or other SBM or backtracking tools, whatever we are talking about, maybe QC. It is depends on your company which one they use. So when we fail, uh, we can put on the test case level is failed, and then in the meantime we need to raise a defect because it is failed. What was the issue? And then we raise a defect. We had the ID, and then when we open, and last time we already discussed. I think I already shared. I'm not sure. Maybe for the quick review, I can do that. Or suppose defect list I have, yes. So okay, just let me open. So suppose you see here is the defect defect ID is there, and then but here we don't have on our company. Suppose in this list we don't have ID on the column, but definitely when you work, it is it could be, you can put it there. It is depends on company to company, but here definitely it is traceability matrix is exit and entry criteria. So that should be involved on test case level, not on the defect test. That is I wanted to make sure 100% you understand.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. So it is like any list, it could be defined based on your application process. Here, whatever I'm highlighting, it is company's needs, but it could be more columns added, or it could be modified. Suppose like environment could be defined. Suppose last time we already talked, right? Environment could be if you are multi-browser testing, if you do, and then you can put it. If your application is running not only Windows, maybe iOS or Android, then also you can put it there. Like, and then individually every test case you need to run different environment, and then make sure everything is supported. If it is anything is not, then definitely you need to point it out. Suppose on our live experience, we had a problem with the Windows, sorry, not Windows, Mac OS. So when Mac OS new operating system got released, and then our application, total application got blanked, but it has some frame, everything a box was there, but all text was blank. Like blank means it was like nothing is viewable. So and then we could not find out because we had a Safari browser or Windows version. Windows version was working fine, but when my director opened it on his own laptop with Mac laptop. That was his latest version of OS installed. And then when he opened and he find out this issue because on our testing environment we did not see, we did not have any environment or real machine was not there as a testing machine. MacBook new OS was not available for testing. That's why
So
we could not find out.
I have a couple question actually.
Sure.
So there was something like on test cases, like let's say about you are testing something. So do you have to provide the date and time, like when you are testing? Let's say about like actual result or like expected result when you are using that column. So do you have to mention like I checked on that date in that particular environment?
It is depends. I would say it is depends. It is not. I'm not saying it is mandatory. It is optional, but it is depends on your like if your manager said, okay, you need to enter the date, or if they don't say anything, maybe it is a good to review it. Suppose like heavily in your company, heavily they are deploying like every 2 or 3 days. And some companies they deploy every sprint, end of the sprint. Suppose if sprint could be 2 weeks, if sprint could be 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks or month, then that is different. Suppose if they are deploying very randomly, so what happens is, so you wanted to track it like which version. Suppose if they have multiple version, then when it is defect. Suppose you find out yesterday, and then yesterday you find out something, and then today they deployed again. That is resolved. So yesterday you find out the defect, and then today the new code it got resolved. And then after that, when you reviewed, and then you developer got today, and then they said, no, this is not a defect. It is already resolved, so it's done. But if you put the date on it, suppose like after next week or a couple of days later, when they review, they find out like when it got opened, and then when it is resolved on what is the version. So that time is critical to like go through or track it, which defect is containing which version, and then that time it is handy to track that date on it.
So okay,
Otherwise,
and another thing is like what we should put on actual result. Is it the things like when I'm testing, I'm gonna whatever I'm gonna see, I'm gonna write that, or like what is like something else?
on you're talking about on test cases?
Yeah, I'm talking about the test cases. Let's say about there is a portion for like actual result. So
Right.
I'm testing like a text field. So it's supposed to be a text, like not numeric number or something like that. I know that's working perfectly. So in that situation, what I should write, like.
So whatever the state you are facing, I would say like whatever situation you got. Suppose like if it is expected result and actual result is equal, then definitely it is passed, right? But you may involve or you could face some other state. Suppose like last time, maybe you miss it or not. So this is the state it could be. Suppose like pass, actual and matching, actual and
No. I understand that. That's the status. I'm talking about the actual result field. There was an actual result, like expected result and actual result. I'm talking about that actual result things.
so
Like
actual.
what should write in the actual field? Because I know if it doesn't match with the like actual result, the test case, the status will gonna be failed. I understand that, but the thing is what I should write on the actual field, because let's say about I'm seeing something and the expected result is like, let's say about expected result, I'm going to see a pop-up box, and the actual result, I don't know the actual result.
Actual expected result is pop-up box, but actual result you did not get the pop-up box. In that time, the whatever you get, you can put as actual result, and suppose
so that means you are saying like on that time I'm gonna put like I didn't saw any pop-up box on that, like
yes.
as expected result, isn't it?
Actual result is suppose like it is failed because you are expecting pop-up, it is not pop-up, so that time you can put on actual result, pop-up did not displayed, that is actual result, and then you put the status failed. Suppose okay, this is for pass and fail, definitely you put it, what you are during the test, what you are getting, you can mention it.
Oh, okay. No, that's what like I was confused. That's fine. Okay,
No,
got you.
it's because suppose like if you are keeping empty, then why it is failing, it is getting confused, or maybe you can put on the comment section as well, but you can put as the actual result is why it is failing. Oh, okay, I did not get this, or maybe error message is there, or maybe submit, but when you fill up all forms, all fields, submit button remain disabled. When you click, it is not responsive. So in that meantime, you can put suppose like your actual result is create account successful, right? Last time we did on what is called, so create account. So create account where actual result is create account should be successful. So in the meantime, when you did or you fill up everything properly, but your create account button is disabled somehow, maybe application issue, or it could be some cache issue, or something else, some functionality. On that actual result, you may put it there like, okay, submit by when we enter all fields, and then click create button got remain not responsive, or is disabled. So that is actual result, you may mention it, what is you are getting, and then you put fail, and then when they review why it is failed, it will be there. Eventually, that actual result, it is on your description or defect name. Suppose like here, what is the description we have? That is the same, I would say, mostly 99% is same as actual result. So what is the cause of that defect? So same one you can mention it. Suppose if you mention it on the actual result, same text you put as a defect name, or defect and in that defect description you can put it there.
Okay, got you. So so another thing, like let's say about last time you showed us like a Pizza Hut page, Domino's or a Pizza Hut page. So let's say about we are testing that sign up page. So is it going to be the like one test case, or I could like separate?
Depends on how you write the test cases. There is end-to-end test cases, or it could be a field level test cases. So one is functional level and one is feature level. So let me give me 1 second. Let me pop up this page, and then we'll give you the overview. Suppose you have this create account field. So end-to-end means the create account should be successful. All fields, it could be multiple page involved for end-to-end process. So end-to-end process, why we are saying end-to-end? Because we are doing entering email address, password, confirm password, first name, last name, and then phone, zip code, and then some optional benefits, and then terms and condition, and then we create account. When we hit create account button, it is created successful. We have a confirmation number, or maybe some message will be displayed. So this is end to end for one functionality, for one test case. But in the meantime, if you write down feature level or field level, then suppose on the email address. So email address, it could be suppose like whatever you put test.com, but it is not valid, right? So when we go to the second one, and then this pop-up will come. So on end-to-end test case, we will not cover this, because the ultimate goal is we are validating create functionality. We are not validating email field. So that's why you should have, before end-to-end process, you should have separate test cases as a field level. So verify email address functionality. That is the your test case. And then in the meantime, you have a positive and negative. So one is happy path is write the format as expected. Wrong one, negative, could be different. Negative, it could be, it is not, I would say you cannot write down the test cases based on the your data. Suppose like, sorry, suppose like here is dot is missing. So a dot is missing is giving the error message. Now it is fine. It is showing that is fine. But account is already exists. Somebody is already put it there. Anyhow, that is expected. But I'm saying this is correct. So if you are removing at the rate, so maybe you might forgot to another one, another special characters. Suppose you put it hashtag or something else, then it is also invalid. Suppose, yeah, this is your expected result. But I'm not saying to you write down the test cases. Okay, test verify email field test hashtag test.com for data. This not like that. You need to write down the test cases, verify email email functionality, and then you put this, and the negative field, you can combine with your knowledge how much it could be, because as a user, human could be make any mistake. So then you need to verify that error is pop up as expected. So this is for negative test. Positive one should not give you any message. So even though if it is already exist, and then you need to check it, that one. So verify email address already exists. So I'm saying here 3 test case it should be there based on this. One is positive, verify regular data will be regular, verify unvalid or invalid email address functionality. And then in that time, you may have multiple types of test data, and then verify already exist email address. So that's 3 test case field level at least you can write down. But when you test, you need to test at least 5 to 10 with that different set of test data. That is the one level. And then password field, they have already mentioned it, minimum 6 characters, case sensitive, but here did not mention maximum characters. So in your Scrum meeting, you may ask your team what is the maximum character, how user knows what is the maximum limit. So we need to mention it, because if it is business requirement saying that maximum limit is 32, then definitely they can modify their level. And then also in the meantime, when you test, you already knows what is your maximum. Here they did not mention it. So and also saying case sensitive, they did not talk about any combination of special characters. So that you can combine with the test data. You cannot write down the test cases based on like maximum or minimum level. Suppose boundary value analysis you do based on the minimum. Suppose you are writing, okay, password field, verify password field with 5 characters, verify password field with 6 characters, verify password field with 7 characters. That is boundary value for lower limit, right? But you cannot write down 3 test cases based on like data, because you are providing the data, same test case you are running, but different set of number of data you are providing. Suppose 5 digit, 6 digit, and 7 digit with the characters. So But the test case you can write down, so verify boundary value of the password field. That will cover your all three combination of your test data. And then suppose like 5 characters is not working. And suppose it should give you the error message, but somehow it is not giving the error message. Then you find out, and then you put the defect. Okay, during the boundary value analysis, um, the functionality is minimum 6 characters, but it is still allowing 5 characters. It is not throwing any error. That is defect because the function is minimum 6 characters. So that time defect will become with the different the test data. So test data is critical. Test data will come with you on your from your brain, like how you modify. Lot of defects is remaining without not providing proper test data, because this is our goal. That's why the company are paying for that, because company are not guide you to write down the test cases and then go through step by step, or put the proper data. They are not providing you the test data. You are responsible to create the test data, find out the defects based on your functionality. You got it? So the same thing, name fields, all input fields, different input fields we have, and then different functionality we have. Based on the field, we need to get the data and then work on it. So phone number only for alphabetical number 0 to 9, extension is the same, and then how much extension, how many digits we have, we don't know. You see here is like couple of digits, almost 10 digits they are allowing. Somewhere maybe 5 digits is allowing maximum. It depends on zip code, you already know. So we already talk about like depends on the functionality. This is the text field. Another field is important for the drop down. Somewhere I would say, if I go, maybe that one is the good one. I'm not sure. So yes. It's so slow. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So here, did you see this is the adult field? So already that one is by default value is 1. This is expected, but other one, senior, youth, children, infant, or infants under 2 years, more than 2 years. So it has 0 values. But here adult, they already put 1 on it. So that one is default value. So verify adult drop down fields default value. This is one test case. And then for all fields, you need to separate test cases. You need what is the actual expected, that is 1, and all others is going to be 0. So every each field you need to write down the test cases for that. Here is 6 drop down, and then 6 drop down default value. You need to write down the test cases for that, and then based on that, when you click, they have the limitation of 9. You cannot choose 10 people for single transaction, so they are not allowing it. Somewhere is 6, somewhere maybe 15. It depends on company to company. So that you need to verify. Okay, when you select, and then you can select, and then also it could be modified. Not only the mouse click, it could be modified by keyboard. Suppose, did you see it is moving even without mouse interaction? From my keyboard up and down arrow key, I can also modify. That also be functionalities. Definitely they put it to change or modify the adult field with the keyboard, with the keystroke up and down. That also you can write down the test cases for that. So that's I am trying to say to you, like there is a different validation point for drop down as well. So what is the default value? What is the type of sorting? Suppose here is no sorting, is there is a number is 0 to 9. Even 0 is there. They're keeping 0, but default is 1. You already saw it. But here somewhere they have a sorting. Suppose they have a menu is sorting, maybe some list is sorting. How it is sorted, or is this unsorted? Somewhere they're keeping unsorted, somewhere is business rules is it should be sorted. So that also you need to verify. You need to write down the test cases. Okay, drop down value sorting types, verify sorting types. So expected is ascending order, or expected is non-sorted. Then it is fine. But that should be documented, because why we cannot fly on it? Because everything, if we have document, when we run one by one and then make sure the cycle, one cycle to another cycle, it is coverage everything. So 100% is coverage. Otherwise document should not be there, because you can randomly play with that. Oh, okay, find out this, find out the test cases. Maybe if you have no document, then you will may miss lot of functionality. You may forget, because if you have document, then you can properly test. That's why we are documenting, to make sure we have 100% coverage. What is 100% coverage? We'll give you more details, but based on the functionality, right? And then what is the maximum character will display if you have a long text, and then when you are putting something, suppose we are putting JFK, this New York, you see here something is bigger, but how many characters at a time it is showing. So when we start writing, when you put something, you see here there is a lot of list, and then it is not cut off. Maybe 20 characters they are allowing for all. If it is big, then it is not showing, but at least it is showing here. And then how many list is showing at a time? Suppose here how many, sorry, it depends on its mouse movement, that's why. So if we count, suppose here is 15 or 20 list is there. So that also need to be documented, or if you are unclear, you need to get the information from your business requirement document, or from your developer, and then you can ask them at a time without a scroll how many lists will display. If it is a big list, then scrollable should be there, right? Scroll should be there, and then you can scroll all the way bottom. You may select by keyboard, or you may select by mouse. So that functionality we need to verify for drop down. And then if it is scalable, you can mention it, right? And then arrow or keyboard arrow keys is involving. So by keyboard arrow keys, you can go up and down, or can select or not. So those things for drop down list, when you write down the test cases or when you test, those all steps you need to follow, and then you need to write the document on it. Then you can, when you test, you are not make any functionality or skip anything, any functionality. So that is critical. And but more thing is, all text box, text field, you need to take it based on your functionality. So we already knows like how to test, but definitely for the text field, I already maybe this class, I'm not sure I already discussed it or not. Suppose like for the text field, we have we can make it. We do have time or not? Maybe I can text you. The focus is I don't want to involve these more details, but if you need, definitely I will go. But for the overview, I would say for very quick, for the text field, what is the maximum number, what is the minimum number, what is the uppercase or lowercase is together, is involved, allowing or not, or a special character or symbol is allowing, or copy paste is allowing or not, or backspace or delete. Even though sometimes we have this, suppose we have a text field here, and then suppose we want to modify something in the middle. So here in that case you cannot modify anything. Suppose if you want to delete New York, you cannot modify, because already you select. That is not editable. It is select. That field is not editable. So we need to find out that field is editable or not. So somewhere the text, what is called the the calendar, sorry, the calendar also, they are allowing to entering the date by keyboard. not the calendar pop-up is not available. So in that meantime, you can check it, is editable or non-editable. A lot of fields is like that. So mostly on this search criteria, this is are not editable because they make it like that. If it is editable, then a lot of error could be happen um, because of human enter a lot of errors. Suppose like they have a format December 20 and 28, so DDMMYY format, not DD, actually this is the DDD, so 3 characters by name of the month. So those things you need to mention it, and then copy paste, you can do that or not. Suppose on your password field, you just write down some password, you are entering here some password, and then whatever you put, it should not be displayed. And then if you copy this and then put on your notepad, and then if it is displaying, suppose on your notepad, open it, and and then you just paste it. You paste it here. You see here, that is coming. That should not be, because they're not it is not encrypted. So whatever we write down here, suppose I put my name and then copy on it, and then I put it there, and then when I paste, it is, you see, it's still, it is giving you some number that is expected, because actual value is not showing. So it should not be. So even you need to check that one as well. You got it? Okay. So any other question, like, or any other people,
Yes.
Mojammal?
Hello.
Yeah.
So who write the test cases and who tested them? Because I know you cannot write the test.
Definitely, this is our job. This is all who are doing this class. So this is class for QA. As QA means quality assurance engineer. So we are tester. When we go to the job, and then this is our daily job. This is our daily job to write down test cases or execute the test cases.
So, for example, like if I write down the test cases, I'm gonna be execute the test cases at the same time.
It may or may not. I would say, suppose we are here, 7 people here as a team. All we are testers, and then maybe we have a big project. 7 tester is there. Mostly 3:1 they are hiring. 2:1 also possible. So suppose if we have a 7 tester, definitely we are assuming 15 to 20 developer on that company. So when the developer working on it, definitely they are working on not working the same functionality, 20 different functionality they are working on. So when they are developing, then we have a lot of test cases there. So we are assuming if functionality we have 5 test cases. So 20 means 5. That means 100 test cases we have. So 100 test cases we are writing all 7 people. So suppose they are mentioning, okay, this functionality you are writing this test. So our project manager, they provided the functionality, and then we finish our test cases. Individual, we divided by three functional function each, and then we write down. And then after that, test cases within a week, test case got created and then completed and ready for test. And then they deploy it. When they deploy it, you are writing test cases function 1, and then Bikash is writing function 2, Faisal is writing function 3, Mozamil function 5, so on. And then after that, when you are running, maybe your manager will assign to you, not you test cases, assign to you Faisal test cases, and Faisal got maybe Mozamil test cases. So randomly, and not giving you the same. So it could be possible. And then when you write the test cases, that such a way you need to write down, then when the other colleague run your test cases, they are not coming to your desk and ask you what is your steps, is missing something, and then or whatever you wrote, that one is not understandable. So that also you need to check it, like write down the test. So I have one document also, like let me check it. I'm not sure. I have. I know. Okay, write down test case. We already did. Just 1 second. So I would say let me check it. It has or not. Okay. Just I wanted to give you examples. So somewhere this document is there, but I'm not sure what is a lot of documents I have. But for verbally, I would say, suppose you are writing the test cases. Okay, verify payment option. Verify payment option with Visa card. You write down the test cases for that, and then you are putting this description is nothing, and then when Faisal or Muzamil, other people, or maybe it's me, I'm going through your test cases, and then I asked you, okay, you write down the Visa card validation. Okay, what is the number? Visa card, who gave me the number? It is a valid or invalid? Who provide this? Like it is company provide, or I'll use my personal? Definitely, I'm not using my personal. Company should provide, or maybe that for any fake Visa card number is available there for testing purpose. Data is there on the online.
Provided by the PM, or this data provided by the developer?
It's not sometimes developer could provide you, or sometimes you may need to create it, or you may need to manage it. Suppose maybe from the online or from the somewhere you can manage it. It is not always they are not responsible. Sometimes if it is a critical, then they may give you some something. Suppose like you are testing something for session number, maybe so for valid session. Maybe you can get from your developer, or some register data you need. Suppose like you need to check it admin functionality. So not regular user, admin user. So admin user and regular user has some security validation, right? So in that time, you are not able to create admin user. So that time may from your development team, they may give you some sample username which has admin access. That you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be happen in that time.
So when you created the test cases, you write down the scenario on your execution test cases documents. So if you find the bugs or anything, you just directly go to your bug documents files or defect documents files and create that one, right?
I am not getting you, so I missed
so,
it.
Okay. So I'm saying like when you execute the test cases, so for example, like you're executing the test cases, you find some bugs or defects. So you report it directly to the defect documents. So can you open the defect documents one more time, please, so I can show you something?
Oh, sure.
So here we just write down the description, environments, and the apps owner. Are you gonna fill up the rest of the part?
Suppose like for environment, you put it there. Apps owner, we have multiple apps, so that's why we put it. Maybe on your project, you may not to require to put the app application on application name. So verified in view station, this is desktop application is used or not. That's why we put it. Maybe definitely you don't have this, but reported by yes, reported by. Suppose like we have 7 team. We already said. So if we have a 7 team, and then who raised it, the defect, when they talk about, that's why they put that column who report it. Maybe I'm not saying it is 100% required. If company required, company said, okay, who raised it, then definitely he need to retest it, because you already raised it, and then it is easy to retest by you. If I said, okay, retest by other one, and then he need to understand first, okay, go through this function, what is the defect, and then he need to extra work. So that time your manager will assign to you for retesting. To easy way for when you put the reporter name. and then assigned to it is all the developer. So you are not assigned to field, you are not required to put it. Maybe your manager or development or scrum master or program manager will assign this, or your QA manager will forward to developer manager will assign this. So maybe you are not required to put the field assigned to.
So we are not actually gonna be put like sensibility like high priority, medium priority. We're not gonna be do this. This is like the manager jobs, right?
I would say developer also, tester also, they need to put it, but manager can modify it 100%. So suppose you put it medium, and in the meeting, they said like, no, it's going to be high priority right now because we need to resolve it before the elevation. So that is our higher priority. So they will modify it to a high. So, but based on your severity, you can put it medium, low, or high. If you have, as a tester, you need to get the knowledge what is the severity and what is the priority.
And who write the comments? So this is us.
It is comments by you, yes, by you. So this is by you. So comments like when what is the happening. Suppose during the defect, suppose you are retesting and then still it is failing, and then or maybe application was down, you did not able to retest, or anything happens, or which version on which date you test it, you want to document, and then you put it on the comments. All other things rather than the columns, mention it on the left. If anything is not related to that, anything you want to put it to document, just write down under the comments or remarks.
Okay. So like we're gonna be write down the description, you're gonna be write down the comments, you're gonna be write down
the keys. Yes, description is the keys. When people are you need to write down such a way when people are reading this, and then they understand what is the defect is. So what you are talking about, suppose like this case.
So write down the status, because when I create the defect or when you have a find the defect and write down the description, we're gonna be say like it's open or it's closed or something like that. On this.
The status is open and closed. You see on the status we have description. You don't need to. We have a separate column for status, open and close. The close date you see on the left side. On the close date they are mentioning when it is closed, close date is there. When it is open, close date is not there. You can see.
Yeah.
See everywhere is closed down. So everywhere is closed down. Close date we mention it. And this is the state, like, okay, pass. It could be pass verification, or it could be only passed, or retest, or waiting retest. This is the state. State means retest failed, and then you write down something that defect, and then somehow it is got deleted. Anyhow, maybe my mistake. So suppose you are writing something, and then that is intermittent issue. Suppose sometimes it's showing, sometimes it's not. Maybe some cache issue. Before you testing, you need to clear the cache. So, but you are new, and then you did not clear the cache, and then you put as a defect, but that is not a defect because it is a cache issue. So people are knows. So if you are clean the cache from the browser, and then you are doing the test again, and then that is passed. So that time they will put it, okay, non-issue, and then they may close it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's blocked. You already know, like you are doing some maybe status report. You need to put it every day based on your test cases, and then that time you could not able to execute those because something's environment issue, or maybe data related issue, or database was down, or maybe admin data is not you are requesting 2 days before, and then developer was so busy they could not able to get a chance to send you back the proper data, and then that time you can put as a block because could not able to test it. So that time you can mention it as a state block. You got it?
Yep.
Here, Asal, this Faisal.
Yes, Faisal bhai.
We're gonna go through any manually, like you have any JIRA or ALM, so you can show them a step by step. That's why I think he has a lot of caution. If you go through, like if you have a just template for Excel and
Excel means I do have one. I would say I have a JIRA board. I can share with you.
Yeah, I think that because the things he is asking you is like once you do it step by step in there, that is going to be very clear for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. Because for providing you, I'm working on the company. They don't have home access, and eventually it is a retail company and then financial company. They don't allow. Even though if allow, you cannot remote it because right now is GoTo meetings is remote. That one is even though if I log in. It is not allowing. It is everywhere. When you go to the job, and then you can work on your from your laptop or maybe office laptop, but you cannot do GoTo meetings or TeamViewer on that machine. It is prohibited, and then it's very strictly restricted. But somehow I have some from my companies, and then I print it out for you guys, and to we can share with. Suppose. In here, this is the JIRA board or really almost same. Yesterday also we go through. Last week. This is the name of all team member. So this is the name is Sai is one name, Binita is one name, Shravya one name, Srikant one name, Anil, Arif, Kiran, Karen, Tohidul, Shamim. Tohidul is me. So suppose like. This is the all our team member, and then some is onshore, some is offshore. This is that. So when you log in on the JIRA board, when you have definitely they have a URL, and then when you enter the URL, and then it will ask for your username and password. I may have, but maybe tomorrow or next week, just remind me. I can show you again. But it is not critical. You can just log in. After login, you will see your page. This is your board. Every day when we have a Scrum meeting, they open this board, and then how they track it, who is working what, and then with the board they will find out. So on our to-do list, will give us the untouched assigned work, and then in progress is touch assigned work. Suppose like you are working something. So suppose before your sprint, maybe you have 10 tasks. So from there, you are doing 2 tasks on today, and then one is got finished today, and tomorrow you are getting another one from your to-do list. So it is here, or you see all the way right side. This is the icon. You are logged in, and then this is the menu for JIRA board, like dashboard, project, because this is for in general for the company. Suppose company could have 40 or 50 projects, or maybe more than 100 projects if it is a big. Suppose Comcast and the Vanguard, they have like more than 100 projects on their company. So everybody is using JIRA. So it is in general, we need to find out which project and then what is the sprint board. But we don't need to care about, because that will handle by your program manager or Scrum Master. So this is the overall. Just I want to give you overview. So this is our board, and then on left side corner, this is the project name, and AWD 10, AWD sprint. This is the sprint number 24. So suppose we are using Agile, and then this is here. It will display to you how many days remaining. And this is the name you already know, and then this is the 4 columns is to do, in progress, and waiting status, and then done. So to do list when it started, and then in progress what you are working on it, and then waiting is suppose like you are working, you find out something as a defect, and then they create this as a task, and then assign to the developer, and then the developer assign to you, and then when you put the assigned, they assign to you, and then it will come under your waiting list. Because you need to check it. Suppose like you see here, fix lookup submission to allow the correct field, issue 35 problem case, comments are not updating in history. This is defect. So that defect, my manager or Scrum Master, he will create the task for developer and then assign to the developer. We had already on the Excel sheet. They track it, right? So that's why they assign to the developer. Developer work on it. Developer put the comments. Okay, fix it. Ready for retest. They put the comments, and then assign to you back.
How you filter in there? AWD Sprint 24 is showing in there, and quick filter. You see all the tester name in there showing in there, right? Then you click when Tohidul, you show your tags in there, right? So how you filter that one?
So it is automatically come with the name when they assign the project by project manager or Scrum Master. Suppose you are joining today, and the name was not there, and then your project manager knows you should be assigned to this project, and then he create a JIRA user and assign to you on your project, and then when you log in, immediately you will see you already assigned that project, and then it will open on your dashboard. Because there is a suppose like when you log in, how you know which project you are working on what. So you don't need to, because they will assign. You cannot access other project because it is not accessible. You may see the list, but you cannot access. So that will come by assigned by admin people. It is not as a tester. As a tester, you cannot modify this. Or maybe who is the Scrum Master, he has the admin access. He can modify anything, add or delete or other things he can do. So let's go down. Suppose like, and then in the meantime, how it is, you can change it done or some other state. Suppose there is you see here is the to-do status, and then this task, this is the ID, it will come under the to-do, and then this is the description is there. Here is the attachment. You can browse or drag and drop from JIRA, and then other activities, it is cut off. Under that, it has a comment section, so you can make comments on it. Suppose like you see here under the activities, you have a lot of tabs is there, and then there is the comments tab, and then you can put it. Suppose developer said, please add the screenshot to the issue list or ticket to get more insight into the issue. So you write down something, but they wanted to screenshot to take it. And then in the meantime, we put it here. After that, we put it as an attachment on that. And then you can ping him, hey Vinay, I already put the screenshot on issue AWD 1377. You can ping him, and then he may know, and then in the meantime he will see, and then after that he put it the comments. Sorry,
why are you writing all the test step? Because they assign you the, we call the requirement
on your JIRA board. You are not writing the test cases. This is your issue list. So if they use it company to company, depends on. If your company using QC, quality control or ALM, then you can write down the steps over there. And if your company using Rally, they have a tools. If your company not using ALM or Rally anything, third-party software, then they are using their Excel sheet. So in
terms of JIRA, you have to create they give you the requirement, right? That we call the issue, and based on the issue, you are creating the.
JIRA is like Scrum tools. It is not like a testing repository or developing repository. It is like for coordinating who is working what, and then this is the high level of coordinating with the development team, DevOps, and then tester. All are in the same page to talking each other. Otherwise, you are, if they are not using, then you are writing the Excel sheet previously what they did. So you are putting all the defect on the Excel sheet, and then you need to send that to your development manager.
You can see your like tags they give you, the ID AWS, you know, the item they give you, that's the your user history. Based on the user history, you creating the your all the step in there, right?
Normally you may create, or maybe you are not allowed to create. Maybe your project manager or Scrum master will create for you. Suppose, did you see here the branch, a development branch? They may create. Suppose like there is a on the all the top, you see here is a create button. Sorry, create link. So from here you can make create a task. I will show you how to create on the bottom, but you may create or you may not. It is depends on. Suppose this one on our project we are not creating. Our manager is creating. Project manager will create and he assign to us.
They create like you know, AWS we call the issues, and they assign you the that tags. So when you go there and you click your tags, then you can see which you know which recommendation.
Automatically it will come to on your to-do list.
Yeah,
and based on that, maybe you will go, in the meantime you will get the email on your Outlook. Some new task is assigned to you. How you know? Because unless you are logging, you cannot see to-do list, right? So in the meantime, you will get the email by default. Some task is assigned to you, and then you got notified.
See the AWD 1341 is showing the system testing. So when it's in your they assign you, it should be system testing, right? And next one, when you
this is in general. Suppose like a system testing, it is not like any defect or anything. It is like in that sprint. Suppose we have 100 or more than 100 test cases. So all it is not assigned. So did you see the point is 5? That is the point is how it is assigned. Suppose like that also we need to discuss. Suppose 1 point is 6.5 hours, like 6.5 hours every day. It is in generally standard wise for all Scrum or Agile methodology they follow. Suppose like how you put 3 or 5 or 1 or 2 depends on how the task is. Suppose we have 2 weeks task, and then every day 8 hours, right? We have Scrum meeting half an hour, or we have defect meeting half an hour, 1 hour gone, half an hour for lunch. So that is the minimum, maximum we can work 6.5 hours. So it is standard wise. Even though if you have one meeting, it is also same. 6.5 hours you can consider as a one point. And then if you have 5 points, that means you are booked for 7 days for only for testing. In the meantime, you need to defect retest, you need to do other tasks as well. So and then how they manipulate, like you are equal to, you are not overloaded, or you are not somebody is overloaded with 10 points, you get 3 points because you have less task and he is doing more task. So it is the way it is, like how they track it, how you are not overloaded. Suppose like developer also same thing. If they have 20 developers, when they assign some task, maybe is bigger, that one is 5 points. Some task is 1 point. Who assigned this point? Who are architect or who knows senior person? They already know. So that should be like that. Suppose like you are putting for defect testing 5 points, and then everybody will come to you and then, oh, for defect testing you need 5 days. No way. So and also system testing you are putting 1. That is not possible. 1 day can you test whole thing? You cannot do that. So that is depends on the discussion how the task big. If it is a big, then put more points. Sometimes they put 8 points as well. He's booking for a whole week almost for one task.
One more thing, the next one is showing in progress with APP testing. What do you mean that?
In progress. So in progress, suppose like in the meantime we have application testing with APP version. So that is we are doing. I'm doing this. So that's why I move it to in progress. Suppose like it is remaining 12 days, right? Right, and then maybe next 2 days later, I may move it 1341 system testing in progress from to this, and then after that, before 1 day or maybe on the last day, and then I can put it from progress to done. So then my program manager knows whatever task assigned, how many test cases was assigned, I tested everything. You got it?
Yeah.
So suppose we can go through here. To do, it was there. You already saw it, the message, how we check it. Suppose like you see workflow, waiting and done, and then from to do, when you select done, then it will go to automatically done, or you can hold it and drag and drop. Both way you can do. So from your, when you open it, and then it has a drop down workflow. Workflow has two lists, waiting and done. Then you may choose, depends on your state, what you do. And then you see here, and then when we select done, and then it's become a done, and then reporter to manager. This is assigned to, and then we put the comments on it, make it bigger, little bit more. We put the comments on it. Suppose, okay, I'm lost in 300 too much.
So you just hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so you are not writing any step in there. So in terms of
this is not for test case process. Don't make it misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So this is the process for JIRA. It is not tracking. It is not like test cases.
Yeah.
It is not review what test cases. Test cases is defined. It is the coordinating with what is your progress, their daily progress. This is the tools for not writing the test cases. This is the tool for your progress, how it is. So suppose like we have system testing, right? I did not mention it anything here, or APP testing. We have test cases. We are not putting here. Under the test cases, you have the steps.
Yeah.
If you are looking for steps, it is not the right place for looking at step. It gives you the state. Oh, okay. What is your status? Overall project status. Manager will overview, or maybe director will overview it. Okay, what is the progress? We are on time in our budget, or we are delay on our budget, because maybe some issue is there, a lot of issue raised, and then developer is involving a lot of modify their code, and then they could not deliver on time. So that's why they are using this JIRA or Rally tools. It is not for test casing progress. That already I mentioned it. For all steps, that is for QC, that is separate. We'll show you one day, definitely. And then for Rally, that is for test case and test steps will be there. When you write down the test case, test steps will be there. It could be.
So how you log the defect is going to be.
Defect we have here, right? Suppose we are following here on everything is together in one shot. Suppose all list is here, and then they also, my manager also write down the task for each defect on the JIRA board, and then he will assign to the developer. And developer, when they write down, they are putting fixing, and then we retest it, and then we put it done. So when we close, definitely we need to open the JIRA ticket. Already is opened, and then we need to make sure that is on done status. So that should be synced. Because why they're using Excel sheet? Because in a one shot, one file, they can monitor every defect all together. So maybe we have a big team, but on your task, you will see only on your task which one is assigned. Maybe other tester will assign some other defect for testing. Some other developer will involve. You got it?
Yeah. So basically, JIRA is just tracking, and when they assign you the task, you can look at it in there. You know.
Yes. Just coordinating with each other, and it is project level. Mostly it is not. It is project level to progress. They wanted to check it because they have a backlog. right? You're familiar with the Agile methodology or not?
Yeah.
So they may have a backlog as well, right? So from you see on the left side, when they click all tasks, which one is on the backlog, it will give the list. And then in the meantime, suppose the next sprint, one guy he got the less work, and then project manager said, okay, from the backlog, which one is priority wise is high, just pick up anyone, or he can assign to him work on it on the next sprint. So and then they are right. So make sure it is on under the budget or under the on time.
Okay.
So this is like when we click, you see here when you may create your subtask as well. Suppose like there is a big one, and then they want to monitor, or maybe today is the last day. You create a defect, and then in that defect, they wanted to close this, but wanted to create another one for the next sprint, because today is the last day. So what they will do, because monitor wise they need to finish what is assigned by the sprint. So in that time, you may go to more and create subtask. And then when you create a subtask, it will ask the summary. Summary is the whatever the title you saw it here. You see item 25, no search result is this is blah blah blah. So those we can put it here. And description is optional. You can put it more details. And then this is the assigned to you. And then reporter should be your manager. Should not be your. So you just delete it, and then you can put your your manager name, and then create. When you hit the create, it will create. This is the all about the JIRA. Simple tools, but every day when you have a meeting, definitely you need to walk through. You need to walk through, and you need to go one by one, and then give your status, what you did yesterday, what you will do today. That is your status should be ready before Scrum. Mommy, just one second. Just I wanted to give you a daily status report also. Okay, just one second. Give me for like 5-minute break. I'll coming from my baby's preparing milk. Okay, don't get me wrong. So give me 5 minutes. I'll come back within a 5 minutes. In the meantime, you can just go through this. I'm coming. Okay, so I'm here last time. So I have one question. Do you have clear overall like agile methodology? Do you know overall what is the process agile methodology, or guys we need to discuss? Just give me yes or no. Do we need to go through a little bit, or you are fine with the agile methodology? Just give me text like yes or no.
Can you please go through a little bit?
Okay. Okay, I wanted to give you another picture on it. Suppose, let me, where it is. Just a second. I may not. Where it is. Okay. Suppose this is the organization. So waterfall we already know. So what is waterfall? Waterfall is for one direction from top to bottom. So that's why it is called waterfall. And agile is like it doesn't have any direction. It could be changed any stage, the project, anything like requirement could be changed anything, and then development code will be different based on that like changes. So it could be different product. So suppose like our application is a product. Our product where it will use waterfall or where it will use agile depends on the project flow. Suppose sometimes if it is a big project, I would say go to the construction level. Suppose if you are doing on where you are working on bridge, and then that project should be designed first, and cost should be defined before starting, and then cost estimation, and then plan, and then after that plan, then construction going to be work, how many people is needs, and then after that concrete is going to be one by one. You cannot when you start during your project and the middle of that you cannot change the design. Oh, okay, you want to make the more pillar, you can remove another pillar. You cannot do that because it's already designed based on the materials, and then based on that everything is set it up. Same thing in big building. They need to soil test. They need to put the design. Architecture will design on it, and then civil engineer will go through on it, and then it is a one process. You cannot go back that. But why agile? Agile is depends on. We cannot do agile methodology on that types of project. Suppose like a government big project. That big project should be also followed by waterfall. It cannot be changed. Suppose like they cannot change the rules. Suppose insurance company, they cannot change the things before they started, and then after that started. So sometimes depends on project to project. But why right now agile is so popular, and then most of the company, more than 70% I would say, they are using agile methodology. And what is the agile methodology? What is the difference? You already see the picture. It's like development, DevOps, requirement is done, then testing, and then testing will be manual or automation, then it's done. So you cannot test like in the parallelly when they develop, or maybe before they're developing, you cannot start with. But what is the agile? So suppose like Agile create a small module. Suppose in product A, they make it product A1 and A2. They create a team. Create team 1 and create team 2. And then in the meantime, that small functionality, they use it. And then what is the main Agile benefits? Suppose like anytime, any requirement could change. That is the more benefits. And then people are love to, it is some sounds like messy, but people are getting used to, because it could be changed any times before delivery. So based on that, uh, sorry, where are you all there? And then this is the adapt. You see here, adoption is since 2009. So this is 2013 statistics. So Agile is everywhere, is 73.68 Agile adoption. I think it's today on 2018 is almost 80%. And how the Scrum or how Agile is working. So we are doing all are together. So different development team, overall project approach, business people, and project all other stakeholders coming together to make it. Even though other project as well they do, but how they're coming as a small team. So what is Agile is, you already know, like you can change any time, but Waterfall you cannot change anytime the requirements, but Agile you do. So the Scrum is sounds like Agile. This is the Agile vocabulary. So what we are trying to mention it here, the Agile methodology has own vocabulary. So model or Scrum model. So if your company is saying Scrum meeting, then you already know. So okay, they are following Agile methodology. So it is what is the use for, and then how it is. So they have some own rules. Suppose team member should be 5 to 9 or less than 10. It is statistics, but sometimes it could be more. Suppose like we already told you, like we have a 7 tester and then 20 developer. Definitely they will not coming all together, because project manager is there, product owner is there, DevOps is there, system manager is there, database developer is there, data admin is there. So a lot of roles, other roles is there. So definitely if they do, then Scrum is going to be very crowded, because 30 people going one by one, it took like more than an hour per 2 minutes. So that one they don't want to. They will create a small team. So Scrum team is sitting on the same place. It may have offshore team. So offshore team means India, or it could be most of the India here from America, but from Australia or England, it could be a different place, or it could be South America too. So that's mean like offshore team is which is not here. It could be, suppose like offshore team is, it could be on your California places. So it depends on, like offshore, mostly we are talking about the subcontinent or other place, other country people. They are still working on our project. And then what is the project member? Is business owner, client, business analyst, developer, and quality assurance we are. And then what is the sprint? Sprint is the terms of sprint is cycle of how long our development process it will be. Suppose we have some task, and then when we need to finish, that is the time frame. That is our sprint. The iteration is depends on sprint iteration. Suppose we are testing first iteration, and then second iteration, maybe third iteration. We are assuming every sprint we will finish third iteration. So it is like same process you are doing again and again for cycle. That is your cycle. That is your looping. Like how many iteration you will do. So sprint iteration also it has. So its duration normally standard wise they will follow 2 to 4 weeks, not more than that or not less than that. Average they are mostly using 2 to 3 weeks. 4 weeks sometimes is very big because it's lengthy is going to be, but that should be like that. So sprint planning meeting will start first day of the sprint. All team member will join this meeting and organized by system manager or scrum master. So every member we get to do task or user story. JIRA we already saw it. under the to-do task, we have a user story or ticket or task. So user story is more towards to rally. Rally, they are saying user story, and JIRA they are using as a task, or no, yeah, mostly they are using as a task. But user story they are using on rally, this rally word. So program manager, Scrum Master, it could be same, it could be different, or maybe it could be a BA analyst, Scrum Master. It depends on your project, how they are following. So let's hear how Scrum is coming. So Scrum mostly coming from the rugby game. So they are doing Scrum. You see how they are doing Scrum all together, make it as a plan, how they will move it for the next. So that, from that, it is the Scrum word is widely used based on that. So who is the product owner? Responsible for overall issue failure or the project. Final decision maker on requirements is the product owner. So when you have a UT testing, acceptance testing, that product owner should be involved, because he's the he will make you the decision. He will accept or not. He should be there on the on the meeting on AUT testing or AUT acceptance testing. So development team, so you already know, so developer should be there, and then Scrum Master manage the process, remove the impediments, and then facilitate the team. So that is his coordinating to all of with the project rules, whatever they have. This is the diagram of sprint. So sprint like product, when we start, suppose like we have before starting the project, suppose we have 100 user story, and then in this sprint maybe we are starting with 10 user story. So we need a 10 sprint based on the project. So when they start, they are going through, and then here it is mentioning 30 days. It could be, I already showed, 2 to 4 weeks. So 30 days to 14 days to 30 days. And then it's going through. This is the diagram. So how it is. If it is not on time within a 14 days or within a 21 days or 30 days, if any user history got incomplete, and then it's going to be on backlog. That is the structure is as simple. So when is a 24 cycle, this during this sprint there is a daily stand-up meeting every day. So that's why whatever we have a circle, but overall we are monitoring every day. That is 24-hour cycle is mentioning here. Daily stand-up meeting. So daily stand-up meeting, it could be on your first very beginning, like 9 to 9:30, or it could be 9:30 to 10, or it could be 10 to 10:30, or 10 to 11. It could be 1 hour, it could be 30 minutes. So minimum 30 minutes they have time. And then the Scrum already I told you. This is the sprint. Sometimes company also say to you Kanban. Kanban is same as it is Rally or JIRA or Kanban. Like Kanban is the overall word is coming from, actually the background is this one. This Kanban is coming from Toyota, you know, the manufacturing car manufacturing company. They are started this Kanban on their project firstly. You see here Toyota's just in time JIT production system. They introduced this Kanban, and nowadays it is also popular. So what is the Scrum and Kanban main difference is there is like visuality is like almost same, but they're traveling with the same criteria. Maybe overall they're not. They have also same board like to do, wait, and done, waiting. So all the same, but the overall they wanted to use like stand-up meeting. So what is the tool used for? So it is Scrum are both process flows. You see, used accomplished a task or purpose. Scrum more prescribed, Kanban more adaptive. So what does that mean? So that means like it could be like rule wise, fewer rules. Suppose like Scrum is more restricted, more rules. Suppose it's like overall they wanted to don't use the JIRA, developer is getting more details, but maybe the high level they wanted to get the meeting. Some company they are follow that, and some company they are going through the Scrum as well. But it is also popular nowadays. So which one is better? We cannot say. It is depends on the context, right? We cannot say that is one to each other or both are same, but it has some facilities. Suppose I would say here is the example is knife, fork, and chop. It is everything is helpful for your eating. It depends on what you are eating. If you are eating definitely noodles, it is fork is better. If you are eating some hard things, then somebody is prefer to not the fork. Somebody is prefer to same noodles on the top. Depends on the region people, right? So it is depends on like how you use it. It is nothing but that. So the Kanban also you see here to do progress and to verify or waiting the same or done. This is the same way they use it in that case. So that is the good diagram also. Suppose like when you can start testing. Suppose developer they starting from code and then design, right? And then unit test, and then they do automation. So in the meantime, when they are going, developer is going this direction, and then tester will start from after unit testing. We are starting our test. When they are finishing their unit test, we are starting our test because they're saying, oh, okay, then done, they're ready for test. We start testing, and then we are testing manually. Action exploratory requirement should be there because the requirement we need to check it. Requirement, what is the requirement when during the test? If it is done, then it is fine. So that is the diagram will give you the picture like how it is involved to developer and test. So that is another picture as well. Like this is our development team, this is our QA team. Requirement is the same. So they are doing this, and then after we are writing manual process or automation process, whatever it is. Now we are doing the test. If it is a bug, it is assigned to, and then they are assigned to us again. And if it is not, then we can close it like that. So overall, this is the Scrum the process. Scrum process. You got? Let me check with that. Okay. That I think you already goes through that one. Yeah, maybe yes. That one you already goes through. And one question is what is verification? Sometimes they're saying, oh, we're doing verification, we are doing validation. This is maybe confused when you're working on. So validation and verification is kinds of most common word for the testing. So verification is taking if the create system, software or hardware documentation is accordance with the company's standard or not. Typically involve reviews. So review is the verification. So suppose like the question is raised, did we build the right system? That will give you the more towards to verification. This is a review. You are doing verification. But what is the validation? Validation is like, did we build the system right? So according to the functionality. So suppose like you are verifying based on the Pizza Hut. Suppose you are verifying or verification on email fields, right? But definitely you need to validate it is actually working as expected. How you find out? Based on like okay, what is the maximum limit? What is the valid or invalid is showing or not? Your validation, that functionality based on like overview. The review is verification we do, but validation point is defined. Validation point is, oh, if you are entering invalid data, invalid email address, the pop-up should be come, or pop-up should be displayed. That is your validation. And then you are entering your maximum limit, and then it through the error, oh, okay, you are already enter the maximum limit of that field, or already is used, somebody already create that account with that email address, and then it is saying already exists. So that need to be tested. That is your validation. 3 validation point at least you have individual based on your functionality of or your test data. That is the verification and the validation. Suppose for the login button, we are using correct username and password. What is expected? Login successful. Incorrect anything combination, that is unsuccessful. So that way, when you write down the test cases, you need to follow this. What is the items that testing is 100% is coverage. 1 for correct, 0 for incorrect. This is the formula I follow. It is kinds of binary or permutation combination. You can say permutation combination. We already all people knows like 1 1 0 1 1 0 and 0 0. This is the all combination. That means you cannot make other than that. With the 2 number, that is the maximum 4 it will be. You cannot make any other combination. So that means that is your 100% coverage. How you put this formula in your test cases, how you know this is 100% coverage, that formula will give you. Suppose like correct for 1 1 and then incorrect 0 and 1 is correct, and 1 is correct and 0 is incorrect, and then both are incorrect, that is 4 1 0 0. That means this formula will reflect with this formula, with a coverage formula. That is my personal. I'm not saying everybody will teach you this any other place. That is the rules is for how you find out your test case is 100% coverage or not. Sometimes you may ask on the interview. That time you can put as a permutation combination and extend them as they wanted to know. Okay, you are aware of that or not. Those things. Suppose like if you have a 3 combination, how much it will be. So same as it is for 1 item, whatever we did, the same 4 for 1, and then same other set of for 0 0 and 1. This is the 8. 8 should be the for 3 techniques. So how you put it, this is the combination. Suppose if you have a small field, then it is possible based on the testing. Suppose if we have a multiple like submit form, suppose you have 10 fields. That's 10 fields. If you are doing binary, is going to be mess, because it will take you more than a week or month to test all combination. That is not possible. So that time we need to find out, as well as also when we do implement these types of technique. That I wanted to just share with you guys. If you sometimes if you have a small functionality, that is fine. That is good for everything. That I wanted to check with you. I wanted to get it. Yeah, it is difficult, sometimes Sangam also take you the classes, and then definitely if you are not understanding, write down the questions and then send back to us, and then we can overview it on our review class. Because why it is important also review class, because we want to get all people, we want to get a job, and then before get a job we don't want to get any confusion, because this is you want to change your track, change your life. This is your beginning, so everything make sure you are working hard, you study continuously, and then we can go to the job like a pro. Because here we don't have any entry level job. Nobody will review your job or your what is called resume if you have entry level criteria or entry level documents. So it is all for professional. That's the way it is. But definitely I would say you need to go through and then you need to study a lot of things over and over, because one time you may need to review the videos as well, or maybe some other content from the internet you can go through, but overall ultimate goal is gather your skill. Because why they give you 70, 80, 90,000 for this job, based on not your height or not your race or not your face, that will be on your skill. They will pay for your skill. So even though you have opportunity to go through the other interview, somebody is helping, but I would say make your ground very knowledgeable. And then when you go to job, it is not saying we are starting your career, but for long journey you need to go through by yourself. So you can say you will go through by your self motivation and then self study. Because what is the technology is now you are seeing, if you are continue going through the company work, definitely every day you will learn, every quarter you will learn, and then you will update your knowledge, and then maybe next 10 years a lot of things will come new, totally new, and then that time you can adopt it. So that adaptation practice you need to start with now. And this is the structure, the software testing methodology. So we already know, if you are not sure any types of testing, or sometimes we have a description, we can share with you like what is called what. If you are confused, you can feel free to ask me what is the testing this, because sometimes I feel it, my personal opinion is when we go through the description, it seems like most of the things after 10 test cases, after 10 type of test, we have 30 to 40 types of test, but mostly useful maybe 20-25. But you will get confused somehow. Oh, what is the difference? I'm not getting it. That will give you the more picture when you work on the project, and then it will go permanently on your brain. But now we want to give you more clarity if you have any confusion with the real example. So that's the ultimate goal I have. Like, okay, I wanted to make it clear each and every student, or if have they any types of questions, any types of testing, if they are not understand or if they are confused. Okay. Mommy, just give me 1 minute. So okay, let's so verification and validation you already knows, like what is this. And then one question is, maybe we can ask, do you guys clear picture on what is the severity and what is the priority? Hello, do you know? Just let me know, like if you are aware of that. I'm fine. If you are saying like, oh, okay, we need to we need to know a little more, then we can I can discuss with this stuff. Just let me know.
Yeah, can you go over again?
Severity and priority. So based on Faisal bhai, let me know what you know already. Like, can you give me what is the difference when you can do one thing is priority high and then severity low, or when you can do priority low, severity high? Can you give me a real-time example?
Yeah, like it's depend on the company. Like if it's login option, it doesn't work. That means it's a high priority because you have to give more priority.
I'm correcting to you, Faisal bhai, and all people also, all students. It is not on the company. That is wrong word. It is depends on the functional.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, different on the functionality. That's right.
Yes. So yes, definitely. Suppose like you cannot log in with the valid credential. Valid credential, you are not able to successful login because login functionality has some issue, or login button got not responsive somehow. That is what? That is priority high and severity high, right? So
yeah.
Severity is how is impacting on your application process. Suppose banking process you are sending some money, right? I just wanted to make sure some people will got so, so this is severity and this is priority. So depends on severity and priority. Like if the functionality is impacting very badly on your application, that is severity high. If the functionality is not impacting or not damaging the business that much, this is the priority. Priority could be high, priority could be low with the severity low. The example is, I can give you the more example. Suppose like you are transferring some fund or transferring money, the transaction, right? So that transaction, when we do, so from credit and debit, it should be balanced after transaction, because one going to be credited, one going to be debited. That if it is not working properly, that is severity high and priority high. Suppose severity is low, suppose Pizza Hut, that page, the company logo is not showing on the right place, or maybe on the cross, or and the image is got distorted, or maybe image is not properly showing at all. That is high priority, but severity is low because it is not losing any business. They can order pizza, or they can create a account, they can proceed. So that is severity low, but priority is high. Why? Because its companies depends on the company logo. But what is the severity low and priority low? Suppose the level on the terms and condition all the way bottom, there is rules and navigation. Suppose like I wanted to take it all the way. Suppose this text, suppose here is showing 2018, but it is not updated. That is not updated, but it should be updated by year. So next year it should be on 19. So it is not updating. That is severity low and priority low, because it is not impacting the project at all. So that is severity low and priority low. But if company's logo is not displaying, that is severity low but priority high. But in the meantime, create account is disabled. That is priority high. That is priority severity high, because cannot create an account. There is severity also high. But in the meantime, order is not completed. That is definitely they will not put in the production unless they are fixing it. So it depends on your functionality, not the project. So then you need to make it clear where when you have two of combination on your defect list, what is the severity and what is the priority, then you need to mention it based on your knowledge. I'm not saying they will argue with you or why you put it, but definitely you should not put something mismatch. Suppose a create account is not working and then you put it low and low, or something this copyright year it is not displaying properly, and then you put it high severity, high priority. You should not be like that. So depends on, you will understand based on your knowledge, right, how it is, how it impacting. Suppose any optional field it is not displaying, maybe it could be high priority, definitely it should be low severity because it is optional. Or if it is a optional field is not selectable, maybe severity is medium, and then priority also it could be medium. It depends on how impacting, and it depends on what functionality you are working on. I'm giving an example with the Pizza Hut. Maybe some banking company working, some insurance company you are working. So insurance company also a lot of critical thing is there, a lot of critical function is there. So it is depends on. So suppose you are submitting request or a transaction you do, and then definitely confirmation number, or you are paying something, a confirmation number should show, and then confirmation number when they display it is fine. But in the meantime, you will get the email notification, and then from with the email notification confirmation number will be there. In that case, you can say when you test that email functionality, the user get the information by email, that functionality not implemented. So then definitely that is blocked. But when they implement, that is not working properly, or confirmation number field is 0. That is not severity high, because without information, people have that confirmation number on the page, and then they can use it. Notification is optional. So that one you cannot put a high. So maybe that one severity is put low, but maybe priority is high because or priority medium they wanted to based on your discussion. I'm not sure. I'm not saying you are the only guy as a tester who are decided this priority and severity. Maybe project manager or other people will discuss, and then they may change it. Earlier we already mentioned it, but definitely don't put it like is like miss what is called like based on functionality misconception. Oh, okay, everybody is working on it, and then you put it there, and then they will walk through, and then they'll say, oh, why it is low? Definitely it will not going through there. If you are able to put right one, then everybody on your as a tester or a project manager, everybody will come to you when they talk to you, and then they will know, okay, you are very knowledgeable with the project or with the functionality, and then you have a very good analysis skill you have. So that will show you how analytic you are. So that is important as well. Don't get ignored. You may have a lot of example on the internet as well. Just go through one more times or a couple of times, then you will get more clear. After all, if you have any question, you can also ask me as well. Okay.
Yeah, Rasul bhai.
Yes.
After class, can you sit like 10-minute like phone conversation?
Yes, we can do that. You can you have my you can email me as well, and you can also call me, no problem.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then other thing is I wanted to maybe tomorrow from beginning I want to go through some what is called some networking, but some practical things I wanted to show you. Suppose let me go through this one very quick. Last time we did so JIRA we already showed you, and then this is the Outlook. So maybe Sunday I can show you for all. Today's attendance is less. I'll show you tomorrow. Then we will go through all people together. Okay, it's fine. Let me check with other things, whatever we can cover. I can ask when we can stop testing. Okay, that is also is important. Let me go through. Before that, do you have guys any question about what is the scenarios and test cases difference? Anyone? Or you guys thinking like our all are is going to be same scenario? Scenario versus test case. Do you have any question? Can you give me example? What is the difference between, and then when we can write down scenario? If your manager said write down some scenarios or so write down some test cases, which one you pick, and then when it depends on like. Do you have guys anything on your mind? Just share with me.
Before we start, hello.
Hello.
Before we start writing the test cases, and then we will write the specifically scenario, and then describe everything, each and everything, and then we are started the test cases, that time we are follow the scenario, and then what is the username, how many character, what is the password, that time we will use the alphanumeric or special character, and then like that step by step we describe the scenario, and then we follow the test cases. This is for my understanding, I don't know.
Okay, somebody else. Okay, thank you for sharing. But yeah.
So basically, scenario also is called a requirement, right? Business requirement. So basically, if you have the banking sector, they have a login. So that's the scenario, right? And you are creating based on the login. You are creating the test cases, and inside the test cases, then you create the test step, right?
Yes, definitely right. But so the overall things maybe is why I'm getting this issue. So we are not focusing on it. Sometimes we get confused when we work on the real time scenario and test cases. You need to make sure at least one thing is it has relation is 1 to 1, or it could be 1 to many. So it could be 1 to 1 or it could be 1 to many. What does mean? Suppose on the login button, login functionality, this is the scenario. Login scenario. This is the scenario has one scenario. It could be have one case. That time we can make it scenario only. But one scenario may have multiple test cases. So what you are saying, like the field level, suppose the create account functionality, this is the scenario. But in the scenario, we do have lot of test cases, field level test cases we have, right? And suppose like field level, you already know email address and password. Every field has different also functionality. That also you can write down the scenarios. But if you go more details, suppose scenario is find out validate email field functionality. This is scenario. The test cases of valid email address verification, invalid email address verification, already exist email address verification. There's 3 test cases, or boundary value analysis test cases. So that is the under the scenarios on the test cases. The steps is depend on the test cases, like okay, log into the Pizza Hut and then click join, and then create page will come, and then from that click email address, and then that is the steps. So it is depends on the every test cases have a test cases. Have a steps and test cases. Every test case have steps. But scenario it could be one. Suppose like log out functionality. That is a scenario. Scenario is log out functionality is one, because when you click, definitely log on you cannot see without log in. Log out will available when you log in. So that is when we click. That is the scenario. That's the log out scenarios. That's the test case. It could be one. Suppose like okay, when you click logout, then logout should be there, and then when you click back button on from your browser, then you should not be login again. If it is showing login, then it has a issue, because properly you are not log off. Because when you click, it is the cache has some issue. Cache is showing cache not got removed, cache or something. So that is 1 to 1. So suppose for the transaction, suppose you are sending a transaction, that could be 1 to 1. One test case is like a one scenario, because of functionality. It depends, but overall I'm saying scenario is going to be functional level, like what you are doing. This is more details, like what is that we are testing under the scenario. Any question? Okay, so the steps, whatever last time we already I already said it. Like you cannot write down the test cases. Always remember, don't write down the test cases based on the test data. Just avoid it. because you cannot write down the test cases based on that data. You need to write down the test cases based on the type. Suppose invalid, it could be different combination. It could be without add for email address, without dot, or without suppose different format, different things we may have, or a password field, right? Depends on. So always the write down or based on the test cases. Suppose like for zip code, and then you write down the test cases. Okay, verify test cases for number, verify test cases for character, verify test cases for alpha number, verify test cases for special character, verify test cases for special character number and character. That should not be like that. You can write down invalid, verify zip code field with invalid data. That is the one test case. But when you testing, definitely you are using this test case with the multiple set of data. You are entering all, you are writing, okay, you are able to enter only characters, that is issue. If you are entering special characters, that is also issue, because, and you are able to entering other types, like suppose 00000, and then all are 0. Then it is number, but it is invalid because all should not be 0. That is should be handled as well. But depends on, maybe they will say they ignore it. It is bug, but they say it like, okay, we don't have time, we don't have budget that much, developer don't have time to use this. I saw it, lot of fields their zip code is taking all are zeros, all 5 zeros. That on US, all are taking. So that is depends on, but that should be, you cannot write down that cases. What my point is, I wanted to make sure, give you the clear picture, right? When you write down the test cases, you can put valid, invalid, or boundary values. Those little high level. Don't go through the details step level. Don't write down the test cases step level. Step level means like with the test data level. That need to be always make sure, just get the formula always. It could be one-to-one or it could be one-to-many. And scenario is functional level, function. What function you are testing, that is your scenarios. And then how you test, it is your test case. Okay. So we have some document as well. So we have, we are going through, we want to close it. Okay. So why create a scenarios? So this is the example I wrote. Suppose how and when, how to create a scenarios, and then how can you avoid this. Suppose the step 1 scenario for flight reservation. We all are familiar with, maybe somebody is using on QTP, and they're starting with this flight application. It's a IBM, HP built-in application, flight reservation. But who are learning QTP for automation, they are start with this. But don't worry about that. Just go through the how it is test scenario. So checking login functionality. This is the scenario 1, and the under that, whatever we can put valid or invalid, any combination. We can put a cancel button. We can click help button. Under the login functionality scenarios, all functionality under that. And then another one is check that a new order can be created. Then when we log in, after login, we have a flight reservation, and the new order has the date, from, and fly to, and then the name is there, which airlines is there, and then you just after that you find out the flight. From there you choose the flight, the time, and then you order it. But that one is yours. The scenario is you are creating. You are not individual, every field you are checking. That is going to be under the test case. The scenario is you are creating order. That is your scenario. But under that, we are navigating lot of fields. Drop down menu, date field, and text field, name field, and then button involved is there, click, and here and there, lot of things. Individual everything. It is like a end to end. So, but it is the scenarios. The scenarios is for order, and then check the order, right? Checking the existing order can be opened or not. Then open order, we have a um, functionality checkbox is there, and then from there we need a order number, and the date is optional from the searching criteria, and then we can do. If we don't have an order number, we can search by name or date, and then we may find it. So there is the functionality, but the test case will be defined only order number and other field as well, and then both as well. So that is going to be on your test case. The scenario 4th is check the user can have fax order. So they have a fax functionality. Then this is the scenarios. Under that fax functionality, there is a receiver, agent name, fax number, valid or invalid, or send with a signature or not. There's a lot of information is there. The another scenario is information displayed help section the correct. Suppose help and then correct. Correct is showing. Or about, that is the scenario. Under the about, we have a lot of text. That should be our test cases. So the scenarios is information displayed about section. That's the scenario. Like version number, program name, copyright information is correct or not. OK button should be there. The image on the top, the blue image, you saw it here. That should be there, and the title. You see about flight reservation system, that is the title, that should be there. That is under test case. But the scenario is about functionality pop-up, the pop-up image or pop-up window is showing about Mercury application or flight reservation system. So that will give you the picture how you can go through the scenarios and what is the test cases. Do you have, guys, any question as of now? Anybody? Okay. I feel like I'm proud. I feel like, okay, I give you the right example, and then we already have a good picture. You all are understanding. That's good. That's good. And then another topics we can start. Okay, there is a common question also. When you can stop testing? When? What is the issue? You can continue unlimited? Definitely not, because it depends on the time frame. Suppose like sometimes what happens is when we work, we have a time frame. We need to fix it within 2 or 3 days, and working hard, and then we don't have time. Everybody when they ask something, we said like, oh, we are busy. I cannot give you sometimes. I need to finish this because the time frame within a time we need to finish it. That is the time frame we have because of the sprint is sprint wise. This is the last day. Friday is the last day. Okay, on the Thursday we got a lot of fix, and then we need to retest our regression test. We need to finish it, and then maybe Friday night they will elevate or they will go live. In that time, they have a lot of meetings, but we need to test it properly. And then when we give them green signal or everything is fine, under control, then they can go. Maybe they have some known bug. It could be it is not affecting that much. They are publishing it. Maybe next sprint or next release, it will be resolved. That is companies to company or manager to manager decision. They will go or no go. They have sometimes a meeting, go or no go meeting. Sometimes tester is involved, sometimes not. It depends on. But let's get started. When we can stop testing? So it is called exit criteria. So entry criteria and exit criteria you already know, right? Based on, like, definitely it is on our traceability metrics. It traceability metrics will show you what is the exit criteria and entry criteria. So in that case, exit criteria is when we can stop. when exit criteria are met, and then we can stop our testing. So testing, reporting, fixing, and testing again. Some is misspelling. I make it. Okay. So fixing, testing, and then after that, if we have a defect, we can when we testing, if we pass, then pass. If we have a defect, then defect, we have a report, and then they will fix it. And then after fixing, then we retest, and then we report it. It is fine. Then cycle done. It's closed. Critical functionality should be working. That is very, very important. You always remember, based on your company, which one is critical. Critical, it is showing this anyhow. Critical functionality means, suppose based on your company's process, suppose overview, based on you have a one product, and then you can use it with credit card payment and also PayPal, and somehow PayPal is not working because there is some API issues, something is going on, API is not working, or maybe business termination, it got closed, API, maybe PayPal will not work with you, and you have something is going on, some issues is going on, and then it got revoked. And then in the meantime, you cannot you can launch it because company can run with the credit card as well. So that functionality is working, the payment functionality is working without the PayPal. Suppose like PayPal is working, maybe Visa or MasterCard is allowing, or Discover is not allowed, or maybe some other types, rather than a lot of other companies is there, or lot of company they are only allowing Visa and Master, not other card. So then you can use it. That should be working. Suppose it is not working at all, then definitely it is an issue. It is critical functionality. And then don't always come with the login functionality because it is very basic. And then some other thing is, suppose what is called the transaction wise. Suppose you are doing suppose what can I give you a good example? Nowadays every bank company, they are using their mobile check deposit. Lot of not all banks, but major bank, they are allowing from your home, just copy back front and back, you send them, and then the check got available, check amount got available. You don't need to go to the bank anymore. So when you get a check, and then you can deposit anytime. So that functionality, suppose is working, but somehow when they are mismatching, suppose when they enter, you are showing on the check image, it is showing $100, but when you enter by mistake, you put $1,000. So that should not be available on your next day, $1,000, because that should be. So somebody is verifying this. So if $1,000 is available, that is critical, because it should not be. Then that need to be fixed properly. So those things depends on the functionality. Which one is company to company depends on. So which one is critical? So all critical functionality should be work. That is the no bottom line. It should be work. And then it could become 1, 2, 3, 4 cycles. Why you are putting cycle? Because sometimes for first iteration, a lot of bugs is not showing. Maybe you missed some types of data. Sometimes a lot of things, first iteration or first loop or first cycle is not came. The second cycle it came. So it could be said. That's why we are doing 1 or 2, 3 rounds. Sometimes we are 3, and we are 3 people, or as a tester, we have 10 test cases for regression, and then we do all same test case we are running with different environments. Suppose I'm running on Chrome, his other tester he's running on Firefox, another user he's running on Opera or Safari. The same test case we are running, and then that's 3 cycle we done with the different environment. That is the point of things. But the ultimate goal is when we know it is stopping. So known issue, you already know. Somebody can say to you, when you're working on the project, and then they say like you find out some bug, and then on the regression, and then they say, oh yeah, we already know, so this is known issue. That means the defect already is there, and then company aware of that. That is called known issue. And then showstopper. Sometimes they will ask you, is that showstopper? You find out some bug, and then your manager or scrum master will come. They will ask you the question, do you think this is showstopper? Maybe he's not technical person. Always manager is not technical. Sometimes they may ask you, and then that time you need to communicate with him proper way. So what is the showstopper? Showstopper, like, that cannot be go live. That means it is a showstopper is critical functionality. If it is not critical, suppose like the copyright rules or terms and conditions got changed, and then it is not updated one is not showing, it is not showstopper. But priority wise it should be there, but it is not a showstopper. So that is the thing. Suppose like you cannot log in, but the error message is not populated properly, but you cannot log. That is not showstopper. So those things we can take with the based on the functionality. So exit criteria. When we stop, it is called as a exit criteria. So now we know what is the exit criteria. Exit criteria is well begun is half done. They're saying like applies everywhere, even every software. Often we see software testers very enthusiastic at the beginning of the project. We create testing documents such as test strategy, like test strategy or test plan. Maybe manager will provide. Sometimes senior QA tester, they will make a plan. Sometimes documented, sometimes it's not documented. It depends on the company to company. Agile methodology, they are not follow that much. They're not going through that test plan document. But Waterfall, definitely they do have. Definitely they do have. But it depends on the agile. Sometimes have, sometimes not. Maybe sometimes it's undocumented test plan, but it is coming with the scenario and test cases. It is as a test part of the test plan. So so when we do testing with the software with a bang, this is only amplified by interesting defect we find the beginning of the project. Getting them resolved with only 8 hours accomplished. When to stop testing? As we find lots of defect or complete the first run, we move to the next phase. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 is like it is like iteration, right? When we get the second round, second run, then we kind of relax, because we already know definitely second round we gonna run which one already is defect, is there, is got fixed or not. If it is a fixed status, waiting for that, definitely priority wise we're gonna run those one, and then other one as well, because we need to check it other functionality is not impacted for the new implementation. That is the ultimate goal for the couple of rounds, like that, right? So many testers feel like I become monotonous work in later run or start losing interest in the testing, and the same software over and over again. Sometimes we feel bored, sometimes very boring, and then a lot of the same types of test data. Suppose like you have a lot of user on suppose 100 test data, username and password. If you are trying to log in one and each and everything, it is possible? It is not possible. If anybody say to you, can you type every user is valid, they are able to log in, how you can valid? You are doing couple of those, not going all data, and then it is tedious job. You cannot run and over, and then nobody gonna tell you like that too. But sometimes a lot of things. Every time when you do the regression, and then lot of things you need to go through over and over, that sometimes make you like bored or losing interest. But don't feel it losing interest. Otherwise, when you are not putting attention, and then bug will remain there. So that's why they are trying to give you always, if you are losing interest, just take some break, go to some walk, go to some other desk, or maybe give some 5-minute break and then come back again. So do like that. Don't sit over there like forcefully, and then your brain is not working. Maybe you have some headache, and then just stop testing. Just go through somewhere some other things. Come back again for 5 minutes after. Something like that. You need to be like working as a hunting. Otherwise, if you are not working, then hunting will miss, right? I bet you must have felt same way. The ask when to stop testing. Then there is the common question like, okay, so when it is enough testing, that is the question, and then we can find out the answer. When we can say this is mass testing is enough, can we testing ever be completed? In order to answer the question, we will have analyzed testing activities from start to end. Please note that I'm going to define these activities in a layman terms, not in a fancy technical way. Let's consider you are beginning testing a new project. Initial activities is testing team receive requirements, testing team start planning and design, test document are ready and reviewed. So test cases are ready. And then start testing run 1. So testing team start testing execution once they receive the developed product, like from developer to QA environment. When they push it your code, and then you are testing. Like during the testing phase, they execute various scenarios in order to break software and find many defects. Also, the defect later here is higher because the application is new and then undergoing evaluation for the very first time. The defect get fixed by developer and return back to tester team and for retest. The testing team perform retesting of the defect and execute regression testing. Once most of the high severity defects are resolved and software looks stable, and then testing round 2, testing team start the second run, testing similar activities like whatever we did on the first round, and then we find few defects are caught. Retest maybe failed or something like that, and then defect get fixed by developer again, and then return back to the tester team and we retest. Testing teams retest and defect and perform regression. It can be continuous forever, right? If you said, okay, go to the third round, go to the fourth round, go to the fifth round onwards, not like that. Because after, if we have time, after second round, when it is done, then we can say, okay, we can stop, because we have most of the severity functionality is working fine. And then maybe it is all zero defect, or maybe we have some defect is low priority, but today is the last day of the sprint, then we don't have time. They cannot stop waiting to launch it because some bug is there. Definitely it should be fixed before deploy it, but they will say, okay, that 2 is remaining, maybe in the next sprint we can work on, we can eyes on it, but we can deploy it. We can push it, our code, to the production. That is fine. So that time we stop testing. We are not doing anything. We are not going over and over ultimately. So that is the graph. Execute, defect found, retest, and regression. Again, we come here, and then if regression is showing less defect, then we stop, we end. If it is not, sometimes if this defect is not there, then we found no defect, that's mean we stop, we can execute here. But it is not always, it should be like, okay, defect should be 0, and we cannot, unless defect 0, we cannot stop testing, not like that. You got it? Anyone have any question? So it is say here, stop when all defects are found. Is it possible? No. Most of the time it's not possible. It is impossible to find out all defects, even though we have a 0 defect on our list, but we cannot say our application is bug free. No software is bug free. We cannot say. Maybe we minimize that as a tester. We stack properly and then we minimize the defect. Maybe other things we may skip, or maybe a requirement is not fulfill that types of things. maybe compatibility issue. New operating system came. Suppose we are working on Windows 7, and then now everybody's got Windows 10. So in our production, we are working on same application on Windows 7 and Windows 10. And then a lot of application, I saw it on our real-time experiences. Windows 10 is not working at all, and then Windows 7 is working. So that time, that is now is Windows 10. So after a couple of years, maybe Windows 12 or Windows maybe when that Windows 20 will come, and then after that, that software should be support that, and then now it's working. Maybe for the future, that is maintenance part. That's why they need also maintenance that their application. Otherwise, after 5 years, it's going to be backdated, and then it's going to be unused. So that's we need to talk about when we need to stop testing. Decision to stop testing is exit criteria, time, budget, and extent of testing. It is depends on. Suppose like a company doesn't have, they're paying for you, but it is not unlimited. They need to finish it within a budget. They have a budget. They cannot do things. So that time they will say, okay, first round is fine. Maybe 2 round is good, but third round, where some companies they have a staff, and then you don't have enough work, maybe they will go through the third round. But some companies will say, no, we don't have budget, we don't have time. We'll go through the second round as well. Second round is fine, whatever it is. So something like that. Always need to be, definitely we need to achieve 100% requirement coverage, that is for sure. But sometimes a lot of defects is remaining based on the requirements is not clear. So it happens, and then we need to fix it, and then sometimes depends on the severity. Those all ultimately we can go through. And then sometimes the test coverage is what is the test coverage? Test coverage is how we are doing. Suppose like we already showed you, like permutation combination number. This is the coverage. Like when we have a 4 combination, that means 100% login functionality have a coverage. But sometimes if we have a test cases, and then this is the rules. Total number of test case pass, total number of test case, and then if you multiply by 100, if it is a 95 achieve, and then we can go through. Okay, we stop. If we cannot achieve 100%, maybe it's not possible because bug free is not possible. So it depends on. So this is the formula we can follow. So then go or no go meeting will come, and then they will decision make it. Okay, coverage, maybe suppose like they have a 94 coverage, and then it is very close. But they will say, okay, we are behind. It should be 95, but we have 94. So what should we do? Manager said, okay, go ahead, deploy it. Manager said, no. What is the bug? Let's see how many bug. Okay, 3 bug is there. Let's say, okay, let's see from 3. One is seems like little critical. How long it takes to fix it? They will say maybe 1 day is fine. Then manager will say, okay, wait for 1 day. If it is fixed, retest it. If it is working fine, then go ahead. Remaining 2, they don't care as of now. That is the conclusion. So conclusion meeting, they will find out, oh, okay, how it is. But the test coverage is like what we are testing and how much we are testing. This is your coverage. Like how, that is our job to find out. That is the inspection. That's why they are paying for that. That's how critical thing you are. We just give you the procedure, but ultimately you will be the tester. You will think your brain based on your functionality. How can you test it as an end user? Or like with like find functionality is working. Suppose coverage is fine, functionality is working fine, but maybe you missed a lot of issues. That one is under the negative test. You did not follow, and then there is a bug remaining. But for the happy part, the requirement is working fine. So that is the issue. Suppose like a real-time example, I would say I can show you here real-time example. Suppose you are put some comments, right? Suppose comments is there, comment section is there. So comments is the text field. Okay, and then you are writing something. You are writing something, a testing process or whatever. That is, when he save it, it is got saved. But somehow, sometimes if you are putting some, HTML, I don't know, HTML tag, because of the hacking, lot of things is going on. Suppose like you are putting as a test, you are putting under that tag. This is called less than. This is greater than, less than. This is special character. This is a special character. You put it, and then somehow when you put it this, and then when you enter, the text is not comment out. It is not commenting here. So what happens is sometimes they have some amount. You want to put something, and then put is greater than 100. And then when you use special character, it has some issues that this amount after that special character, the 100 is not showing. It is attached only amount, not the special characters. So in the field, even though it is the comment input text box field, the special character is remaining a lot of issues. So that need to be handled as well, because when you test it, only this, it was working fine. You put it pass. You never test it this. And then requirement doesn't say to you, okay, special character should not be here. Special character not allowed. They are not saying this. But your test data was not like that. And then bug was remaining. And then in production is going there. And then production people said, okay, when I put the amount is better than I did not see what amount I enter it. It is not showing under the comments. Even though in the input box I am putting, but after submit it is missing. So that is depends on this, the cause of special characters. That also the real-time example, I would say there are a lot of bugs is there that is not covered based on how you test it, how good you are tester, how critical thinker as you, like as an end user, to test the application. Based on like before writing the test cases or before writing that start testing, you need to know properly your business requirement document, and don't follow blindly business requirements documents only. Even though you need to go through the invalid data or negative test and then find out the bug as well. Anybody, any question as of now? Anyone?
Could you able to share? Could you able to share all of this paper with us?
Yeah, I could. Yes, definitely. I will after the class I will attach to you guys. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So and negative testing scenarios. Negative test. So suppose like what is the negative test? Sometimes they would say to you positive or negative. Maybe they have a category on your document, on your test case. They wanted to isolate it, positive test case and negative test case. Okay. Hey, Rasa, you want to talk, or I can unmute you?
Sorry, I have a question. Like,
sure.
When you're like, let's say about project manager assign you to do something, like let's say for test case writing, is he will gonna mention like you have to write positive test case or negative test case, or you will gonna determine like what you will gonna write?
Yes, it is. As a tester, we define which one is going to be positive and negative based on the functionality. Suppose like for what is called on Pizza Hut application, this is saying minimum 6 characters and case sensitive. So what is about the 5 characters? That is negative, right? That should not be positive. Positive is 6 characters. This is the functionality they said. It should be like that. And it should be case sensitive. Suppose if I use Restful, R is capital, and then rest of this character is smaller. That is then when I put the password again with all capital, that should not be allowed because it's case sensitive. And then if we enter all are smaller, that should not be allowed as well, because when I create password only uh, uh, capital letter, right? So only capital letter I put it. So if I put it like that, RUSSEL, then it should not be allowed. If I put it RUSSEL, that should not be allowed too. That is how you test it as a case sensitive or not. If it is allowing, that means it is not case sensitive. But negative test, you need to take it with the, suppose like we have example. Suppose we have string limit is 2 length and maximum is 10 length. Just assume. And then positive is 5. Value anything between 2 to 10 is positive. But if you enter is 1, then it's negative scenario. If you enter is 11, that is also negative scenario. That is not in the range, but we need to test it. It is working or not. It is throwing any error message or not. That is the invalid data, or it is a part of negative test. All invalid data. So input string alphanumerical or only characters, or depends on. I already told you based on the zip code as well. So depends on. But the happy path is positive scenario is between 2 to 10. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So suppose there is a lot of things like object upload. Another great example is demonstrate important negative testing is upload object. It is very common in many applications using functionality of the object. The user can upload data set from a specific source, suppose like from Excel sheet or CSV data or database, etc., or any image or any PDF or document file. It is allowing. Suppose if you are attaching the image file, or video file, or MP3 file, which one is very big, which one is media file, media types of file, that should not be allowed. Or maybe they have a criteria. Suppose the attachment should be less than 10 megabytes. So your PDF is very big because when you scan, you have a 20 megabyte, and then you try to attach it. It is allowing. It is not throwing any error, but requirement says it should be less than 10 megabytes. That time, that also is negative test. You need to find out based on the file type or based on the file size as well. That is the real-time example I will say it has. So we need to mention it like what types of data or what types of file type or how much the size it is allowing. Sometimes, a lot of times, is happening. What happens is real-time example in the attachment we had a big file and then it crashed the application. When they submit, it's not responsive because in the database it's not taking that much, and the front end they're taking, and then it got crashed, and then application not responsive. And then what they need to do, they need to restart. Then what happens is you fill up all forms, all fields for the attachment when you submit, and then it got crashed, and then you need to resubmit again. That means you need to write again all fields. That's going to be annoying. Then you lose the customer because customer will not do it again for fill up the application. They will say, bullshit. This is not a good application. I'm not going through write down all this stuff. It is killing my half an hour, like that. So we need to follow that this application is stable for or handle those unauthenticated or unnecessary accessible issues. You know what I mean? So those things we need to check it. And so mostly those things is test related. This is the last time also, Naeem, I think maybe 2 weeks back, I did not see you last Sunday. You asked like defect life cycle or testing life cycle you are not aware of, but this cycle will give you a clear picture. What is the defect life cycle? Sometimes they will ask you, so what is the defect life cycle? Development life cycle, SDLC, we already know. STLC is testing life cycle. we know about defect life cycle, maybe you are aware of or not, but we already go through the process. But overview again, when we put the defect, this is new, and then it is assigned to some developer, right? And then then when they assigned, maybe it could be rejected. They say, oh, okay, this is data issue or cache issue or maybe something else, or it is a duplicate. Somebody already raised it. It is a duplicate, and then it could be deferred. Deferred means, oh, they're not doing anything. They are just hold it for time being, and it could be anything status when they assigned. And after that, if they said, oh, okay, this is fine, that is acceptable, when they accept, not this status, deferred or reject or duplicate, rather than when they accept it and then they open it, and then they open it a JIRA ticket in that our case, and then they will do the coding change. Based on that, they fix it, and then they fix it, and then we test it. If it is not fixed yet, then we will reopen, or maybe we already close it, and then this sprint is working fine. Then next sprint when we work, and then we saw that defect is again it showed, and then what will happen, we are not creating the again defect, we already have it, we just reopen it. There is another status is reopen, and then we can put it the date as well when it is reopened, and then they will fix it again, because the regression issue, something is make it corrupted, or some other functionality when they put it or deploy it, and then they make it a mess another one. It could be the valid scenarios, and then when we verified if it is working fine as expected, then we close it. This is the defect life cycle we have overall. And this already, this one we wanted to check it. Severity and priority. This is the severity and priority picture. Here, what is the severity and priority picture? Suppose like priority refers to the project, how urgent it is to resolve the bug. This is the priority. Priority is set based on changing project factor, status of the bug, its importance from customer side. Priority is a dynamic field, should be revised and updated as a project progress. So severity refers a bug, how it's affecting the user interaction with the application. We already told, right? This is the statistics, like sometimes the word or the description will not give you the proper picture. When you have real example, then make you more clear. That's why I wanted to not focusing reading a lot of things, but if you have time, just go through the documents, but always remember the example. That will make you clear. So severity is usually the static field. So severity is objective set based on the direct or indirect impact of the bug, or possibly of occurrence. So those things, if I give you first time, if I not saying anything, the real project or not real example, I will 100% can tell you, nobody will define what is the severity and priority, and how you define. You cannot define based on the context here. So we know know that. And another one is defect cost is very good example of when we are finding the defects. It is based on as early as possible we find the defect. When it is production, it is cost more time, lot of cost, because it is when you are working on, and then if it is early stage, as early as stage you can find out the defect, that is cost less for your project. Okay. So then I have documents this okay, and anything you wanted to ask me based on not today's class, also prior one, just feel free to ask. You are not aware of that a lot. Where is our? Okay. I wanted to check with this. Okay, so that we need to go through like what is software testing, software tester, and B model, waterfall, or agile. We already covered those. Sorry. And then what is the tester skill? So tester skill, tester role, tester responsibilities. Any question? Like if you need to discuss. So we can overview also so for short time for a minute. Like tester skill is as much as suppose like it is unlimited. Like if you know database, that is another skill. If you know the API testing, that is another skill. If you know very good documenting test cases or defect functional test case, you can isolate or you can good analyzer. That is your skill. Right. Just give me 1 minute. I have one call. Okay, guys. So it is depends on like and tester role you know it is some is senior, some is manual tester, some is automation tester, some is QA test lead. So it depends on the which role you are working on. Depends on right. And then responsibilities, everything we know. Our testing is our responsibility as much as we can test based on the functionality. And then SDLC, B model, waterfall, Sangam also go through testing life cycle. He also go through defect life cycle. We also showed you here. And then writing the test scenario, I give you the example, and also just try to start with the testing. Just 3 or 4 application, any application you can pick up and then put the URL and then send to me, and then we can walk through because that give you more confidence. I'm saying over and over. Last week also I told you, but I didn't see anybody give me the any assignment. So and then all we go through the what is the test data. Test data is very important for the invalid or finding the defects. Test data is very critical to find out the defects, because if you are not properly use your test data, then you could not find your lot of bugs. That is our responsibility. Writing process, test cases, you already mentioned it. So those already you go through. Type of testing, manual and automation, you already know what is the manual testing, what is the automation testing. Manual testing, whatever we write down the test scenario and test cases, this is the manual. Suppose we already previously we said, suppose we have a critical application, and then admin user have different functionalities, regular user has different functionalities, and then they wanted to automate. Because why they are automate? Because they wanted to suppose a lot of times when we repeat lot of steps we may skip, and then they do automate because for first time it is lengthy, but for the long run it is good, because it is definitely automate will do the human, but one process to another process. Sometimes automation is the key. You need automation. Suppose for performance testing, we cannot do manual because performance testing we need to automate. Because suppose like I wanted to check it, our application at a one time or per hour 10,000 application got inserted in the database. How can we test it with manual? Do we need 10,000 people to hire the same application on 10,000 laptop? Not possible, right? So we have a tools for that, and then we need to script it, and then all field will be going through, and then before submitting, all are going to wait for that. It is called virtual user, and then it will at a time it will hit the submit button, and then we need to take it in the database. It go after that database has 1,000 new record. If it is not, then it's a performance issue. If it is, then they can handle it per hour. That means 24 hours, 24,000 a user we can handle. That is the performance testing. That is the part of automation as well. Then black box testing, white box testing, you already know that those types of testing. I will give you the open notes. Like if you feel free, anytime, any test, any type of test, you may ask me. Not now, maybe later. If you feel free to ask me any types. Just need to review again or put the question on the email, and then we can reply. And then we all are going to be on the same page. Okay. Those are things we need to check it. And then test execution, traceability metrics, review, status reporting. Those you know already. We already discussed. If you same thing, I would say over and over. Sample status report we already shared with you. And test readiness review checklist. It is kinds of like sometimes we have a review meeting with the test case, or it could be a defect review meeting. Sometimes for severity or priority they need to assign, or what is the status, we are in the same page, and they put it all together. And bug defect issue is the same thing. Sometimes they are going they're calling as a issue, sometimes they are calling as a defect, sometimes calling as a bug. It is software. When it is bug, software is not working as expected. That is the bug. That is the issue, right? Those we need to know. So next day, JIRA we see little bit, and then some other one maybe we can give you some ALM or QC, some videos. So we can give you the link, and then you can go through with us, or when you have a time we can walk through. Because it is a server-side application, we cannot install it as a local. That's why there is a limitation, but it is easy. Definitely when you work on real time, you have a URL, and then you will go through, but at least you have a visual picture how it's look like through the through the QC any types of videos on YouTube. And then tomorrow my basic thing is networking, because network has lot of issues. Issues means a lot of things you may not aware of, but as a tester you need to, I believe it's better to gather your skill. Simple as it is, like when you have a 20 candidates, and then why they hire you from your 20 candidates, who is the best, right? Company want to best candidate, but as you know more things, it is better for your future. So but testing, I'm not saying you are going to be as a system administrator or a network engineer, you are not going through, but at least you need to sometimes you need to connect with one computer to another computer remotely, or sometimes you need to find out what is the IP address. Sometimes you need to ping with some server. That server is up or down. You can find out, or maybe some software version you need to get it with DOS command. That will give you the picture. So that's why I feel it like every tester, they need to go through what is the network process, because every company is not running without network. They have their network system, network administrator, but if you know that, and then when we have a team meeting, if something is related to that network, and then when they talk about, at least you are aware of that, you are notice, oh, what is going on the project. You are not like, oh, what is this? I don't understand. It is going above off my head, something like that. So definitely we will go through, but I'm as of now, like I'm the part of the manual testing process. If anything, as of now, just give me a heads up. We'll go through again, and no problem. Because we have a time, and then in the meantime Changam will take the class, and then I will go continue on Sunday lab class as well. We can discuss as well. and also he is going through some database. Definitely, I am not following his class because of the time issue. But definitely for the practical for joining or Oracle database, I will go not next Sunday, maybe following Sunday. I will go through the database as well for make you clear. You have syntax, you have this, but in the meantime, you have time to install the database on your system, and then that way, when we have a practical work or practical, then you can practice on your machine. Okay, that was the things in network we will discuss. But one thing I wanted to know you or not. Everybody is fine, or you want to just because now it's almost 2 o'clock. We started almost more than 3 hours. Um, so I would say just you can anything. Do you need to discuss with? Do you have any question? Anyone? Hello. Okay. So seems like you are all are fine. Um, then I would say today class I will stop it today, and then definitely tomorrow same time the morning I will walk through networking stuff, and in the meantime if you have some question you may ask, and we'll continue tomorrow. So just see you then later. Bye for now. Okay. So we can stop here.